How's it going, everyone? It's Art1fact. So yesterday I showed you how I used the transpose snap setting in Vital to create this kind of weird detuned sort of intricate details into this grimer bass. And I'm going to today explain a couple of extra post-processing tips and also what I've done in the effects section, which is a really subtle little beautiful thing. And it really, it's just beautiful, sounds, music, that stuff, So effects, let's have a listen. Let's turn them all off. 5 we've got on here. So what I've done, it's a subtle difference that we've added to this bass, but in context of the world, it makes all the difference. So let's have a little listen what I've done here with the chorus. It's mixed in so slightly, 4%. I've just taken down the depth and I've taken down the feedback. And just this little layer of chorus at such a low percentage just kind of blends like the sound in with itself a little bit. It just works. Now this compressor as well. Just if you turn the mix on full, you can hear exactly what it's doing. And then you can just play with the attack and release a bit. I've just taken down the release a bit because I just want to get the most out of the sound. And then I've turned up the low a little bit. And that was quite nice. And then I'm just mixing it back in. So like 30% or something like that. And that's quite a nice level for me. Then the distortion here, this downsampling. I feel like it kind of just tames the high end a little bit. So, if I have it on full. When it's on full, it's kind of, there's a little bit less harshness in the low high end. So, and then I've just mixed it back in a little bit. So I'm just using all of these just in a really, really subtle way because, the little details sort of add up and you get more of a natural result in the end. So I've done a similar thing with the phaser. This is probably the most interesting one. So if I turn the mix up here, what we've actually done is we've got a slow phase speed going on, so it's at half a bar. You can see how fast it's moving. And then I've chosen to bring the filter shape like this, and then this center chooses where the phase is starting, and I'm actually trying to phase the sort of real low mid-range end of it, because here you get a really sort of obvious, a bit sort of muddy mid-range phased sound, I would say. And then up here you start to get really okay, you're using a phaser, aren't you? But if we go really low to where the sort of fundamental low part of the bass is, it's down here. So we're really you don't really hear this obvious phasing effect, but it's adding this sort of extra movement, which is really just beautiful in my opinion. So let's mix that back in. I think we leave it to sort of about 30% again. And now we've got a little extra kind of movement in the low end, which is, again, is very, very subtle, but I think it makes quite a nice little difference. And we've done a similar thing with the reverb, We just turn the mix up. We've taken down the size and the time. So it's just a bit of naturalness to the sound. And then we've really taken the mix back to 4%. So it's just, and again, all of these effects are just a few percentiles that are just kind of adding just one little extra layer of sort of natural sort of beauty to the sound. And then what we can do then is go on to the post-processing, which is quite interesting what I've done here. So I've just bounced out this whole bass group to this section here, which is then the full loop. So let's listen to that. I've chopped up a few things to sort of just change the groove of it because I was getting a little bit bored of it, so I decided to sort of change up the rhythm and stuff. So let's listen to this chopped up version. And then if we hear that with the beat. So once I'm happy with that final bass loop, I've then gone on to post-process it by adding some more layers with some different effects and that kind of stuff. And I think I'll probably do a Patreon exclusive tutorial on how I did these sort of different layers, because there's a few new techniques that I've recently learned that I'd probably like to share with my inner circle community first. But if you like the drums I did here as well, if you want me to do a tutorial on how I do drum layering, I'm completely up for doing that, like a basic drum layering tutorial, which elements to use, how to blend them together, then let me know down below and I'll make that for you guys, no problemo. But if we just take a little final listen to sort of my little groove here. So I think that's quite a nice little natural sounding bass line overall. This is going to be available, the preset is on my Patreon, and the sample is going to go in my sample pack for Lout samples, which I'm currently building. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, let me know if you want me to do like a drum tutorial or what you want me to do next. I still hope you learned a little bit about the effects processing that I've done on this bass. And I haven't even used any filters, but just the combination of these things together adds just this kind of extra level of detail, and you don't have to always go crazy with them. You can, my tip would be like really turn up the effect so you hear what it's doing, and then make it sound as cool as you can, and then mix it back in. And if you do that on multiple things, you'll end up with a much more natural kind of sound overall. So anyway, I hope that's been a good tip for you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another tutorial. Big ups, have a wicked day. Ciao.